Hello people, um, I'm back with a brief recording today. I'm not even sure what I'm actually going to say, but it's something that I've been thinking about for the past few days, really, and it's about how I felt when I started to experience what I experienced, which is fear and doubt, and how these two elements, emotions, can actually hold you back, create things in your mind that should not be there. How fear and doubt can predict how you function on a daily basis. Everybody experiences fear, everybody experiences doubt, but it's about how you manage that in going forward. Right, so that's what I've been thinking for the past few days. I'm going to read my statement before I go on to say anything else, but whilst I read my statement, please take account of what I'm saying. This is really quite serious, what I'm saying, and it's going to hopefully take this channel forward. And also the fact of doubt and fear and doubt, and how that can actually affect you in a detrimental way. So what this channel is about, this channel is supported by God based on my experience of witchcraft and the awakening process over time past and present. The practice of witchcraft is real and affects many people's lives in terms of physical health, emotional and mental health, substance misuse, alcoholism, and financial difficulties within this time scale. I am calling these entities out into the open to express their actions towards the vulnerable, the innocent, and those unaware of their actions. These people, demonic entities, behaviours are of old. Excuse me, got a fly flying around me. Support is offered to entities who rebuke the dark, wanting to return to the light. God continues his protection of the chosen and individuals of the light who visit this channel to express themselves and to receive support. With that said, doubt, fear and doubt. Until experiencing what I'm experiencing, what many people are experiencing, to be more factual, I never thought about witchcraft, demonic entities. I wasn't even aware of the word narcissism, entities. It wasn't anything that really crossed my mind. And in thinking about the word fear and witchcraft for me was in a James Bond film back in the 80s. I've never really thought about witchcraft or the effects of witchcraft or even people practicing witchcraft until this experience that I'm having. Fear is dangerous. Fear holds you back. Fear, is it a human emotion? Is it something that we should really take into consideration within our life? If we didn't experience fear, would we be functioning on a different level? If we didn't experience doubt, which is again an emotion, is there another word that will take its place? Are we focusing on these two words too much? I've got a definition here. Fear represents an unpleasant emotion caused by a belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. Let me read that again. Fear represents an unpleasant emotion caused by a belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. I've made this well known, really, that my first experience of what I believe now to be an entity, a demonic entity, was my father, who one Sunday afternoon, whilst we were just sitting having a cup of coffee, not really engaged in any conversation, to be fair, he says to me, and excuse my language, he says to me, give them the fucking money, just out of the blue. And I said to him, what money? Who are you talking to? And he repeated himself. My father, for a good year, used to function 95% of the day with his eyes closed. On this particular occasion, his eyes were well open, well focused on me. The difference was, I didn't recognise his eyes. They were certainly of something else. The more I challenged him about what money and who was he talking to, the more verbally abusive he came. Although my father verbally could be challenging, it was not on the level of how he was expressing himself on this occasion. My father then recalled somebody else in my family of the same nature as I'm explaining him, my father, in. So this is my first experience of demonic behaviour. And people, it was demonic behaviour. Fear? I'm not even sure if I experienced fear on this occasion because it was a new experience. But fear can hold you back. And in terms of fear, I think I have overcome that, else I would not be in the position that I am now, progressing forward with the awakening process and still dealing with witchcraft in terms of spiritual warfare, which again is new to me until this experience. And I can't say that I was not in fear experiencing what I'm experiencing now, because I was. And I suppose what I'm saying is that we are all individuals. We all experience life differently. So whatever fear we muster within ourselves, that is our fear. I can't say if anybody was sitting next to me now, they would experience fear the same. But what I am saying is that fear can be overcome. And in order to get through this process, the awakening process, fear has to be overcome. If you allow fear to take you over, you're on the road to hiding. And I'm talking mainly to the up and coming chosen ones. If I knew now what I didn't know then, I'm not sure if that's a saying, if I said that right, I probably would have developed more or faster than I have. But in saying that, I would not take back the experiences that I have had, although not normal. Not normal. And I'm going to say that again. Although not normal. Because some of the experiences that I have had, they have certainly been supernatural. There's no other way that I can actually explain this, or the feelings, or the sights, what my body has told me. Yeah, mainly what my body have told me. It has been supernatural. And I have to say this actually, and what I have seen. What I have seen. So, to the up and coming chosen ones, fear has to be overcome without no doubt. Has to be overcome. If you allow fear to overtake you, would mean that you have allowed fear over God. And if that is the case, I have no advice, because God is the all, isn't he? Excuse me. Doubt is another emotion that really needs to be considered. I'm not sure which one would be the more severe in terms of life's experience, the holistic experience of life, between fear and doubt. And if I could put my neck out, I would probably say doubt is the overcomer to fear. We all experience doubt in our presentation, in our activities throughout life, the course that we've just taken, and the exam that is pending. Doubt. Doubt if you're going to pass. Doubt if you're good enough. Doubt if you've picked the right profession, for example. I've got here doubt, a feeling of uncertainty or lack of conviction. Some doubt has been cast upon the authenticity of a particular person's action or account of action taken. So somebody's account of action taken could be different from somebody else who view that action, which then would cast doubt on that person's authenticity. Again, for your authenticity to be challenged is also of concern, not only for you, but the person who has challenged you. I'm trying to think back in my life whether anybody has challenged me in terms of my authenticity. And actually, I don't think there has been. Not that I can recall. But if I could recall, I would honestly say. Because at the end of the day, none of us can say that we're perfect. None of us. And if you are saying that you're perfect, I am worrying about you. Doubt is another emotion going through the awakening process that will hold you back. You have to have control of yourself, control of your thoughts, particularly in order to go through, to forward within this process. Doubt. You know, and even talking about fear and talking about doubt, going through the awakening process, which, if I'm honest, is religion-based. Christian, spirituality, all sorts of religions are involved in this. But it's not, you don't have to be religious, because I'm not religious. What I have done is built up a relationship with God. That does not say that I'm religious, although I have picked up the Bible on occasion out of interest. But I would not class myself as being religious. But what I would say about myself is that I have a good heart. And having a good heart is one of the main things in terms of progressing through the awakening process, is the condition of your heart, how you manage yourself. Going through the awakening process and coming across the entities that I have, I can't say that I was not in fear. Cannot say I was not in fear. Because these entities, people, are evil. They are cold. Absolute cold. No emotion in terms of the harm they were causing me. No emotion whatsoever. I was in fear. I've never seen that in an individual before, ever. Ever. I've come across people who haven't told the truth, but they have not been, and I can't find the appropriate word besides cold, emotionless. And I have to say this again also, is the fact that it's been over 4 years now. And, you know, from the first time up until now, it was probably a good year and a half into the experience before I actually started to believe what I was experiencing. It was a very challenging period for me in terms of my emotional and mental health, because I was experiencing some things that I had never experienced before and never considered having to go through in terms of an experience. Which brings me to the realization is that I have been attacked by demonic entities, by spiritual warfare. I am at a stage now that I can't say that, no, I'm not in fear. I am not in fear. But what I am experiencing is determination. Determination that whatever I am experiencing personally is not going to get the better of me. I admit that my time clock has changed. I'm awake all night now, as opposed to sleeping at night. My sleeping patterns have changed. I don't think I get as much sleep as I was getting until having this experience. But my energy levels are really quite high. I can feel that for myself. But, you know, this has been now 22 minutes. And what I'm feeling is that I need to explain to you about meditation and fear and doubt. And this is really quite important. During your meditation state, you will get to a point where you can master your thoughts in terms of relaxed state in your mind where you don't think of anything. And even when things come into your mind, you just let it come in your mind and just drift out. Then you go back to that state of not thinking. There's nothing in your mind whatsoever. Now, experiencing fear and doubt, actually, whilst you're meditating and you're in that meditative state where you're not thinking of anything, if you put your mind into the fear or the doubt that you are experiencing and just focus on that and don't let anything else into your mind, if whilst in that state you experience calm and space, that is telling you that the fear that you are experiencing is not real. However, whilst in that state and there is a blockage whilst in that meditative state, your fear is real. Demonic entities, narcissists, they really don't care. They don't care. they are real. The spiritual realm is real. The material world in which we live, as obviously you know, is real. Going through the awakening process and dealing with witchcraft, you have to deal with your own fear. You have to deal with your own fear. Also, as I've made statements throughout my recordings and this one, I don't view myself as being religious. I view myself as having a good heart. But still, I have built my own relationship up with God, the Almighty, Source, the Creator, Buddha, whoever you want to call. Whoever you want to call God. That is vitally important, that faith in terms of God is established for you in order to continue along the process of the awakening, and to some level the protection against demonic entities. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. Absolutely true. I have created this channel in terms of my own experiences, which for me they're real. I've had quite a lot of I can't even say the word. I've had a lot of through traffic, which there is obviously interest. But what I find hard to understand is that having the through traffic to my channel, there has got to be a belief to have the through traffic. A high proportion of the through traffic have had their own experience. Having your own experience in terms of the awakening and witchcraft is for you true, and you're looking for additional information. For me, what I'm experiencing is not going to get any better. It's not going to get any better. And what we need is to put something in place to evidence what is being experienced by me and other people. For me, I think to pass through a channel that you have some interest in and not subscribe, I think is neglect. Personally, I think is neglect. But you have to deal with your own conscience. But certainly, as we go through time, this is not going to go away. It is not going to go away. People need to take responsibility for what they are living, for what they are experiencing. So what I'm saying is, subscribe. Absolutely subscribe. Visiting this channel is not going to create true traffic for non-believers. It's not. It's the believers that's going to take this channel forward. I thank you for your time, and it's going on 30 minutes. I will be back. I'm going nowhere. I'm absolutely going nowhere. Because what we're experiencing is absolutely real. if you have not owned up to that for yourself at this moment in time, you will do as time goes on. Thank you for your time. My name is Ian. I love you all. I'll be back with another recording soon. Take care.